You ever have one of those moments where a single ridiculous decision by someone else completely rewrites the story of your life? That $600 fishing fine Bethany Crankshaw slapped on me. Yeah, that was the start of it all. Because 6 months later, I didn't just pay her fine, I ended up owning her precious lake, turning it into the most successful fishing resort in 3 counties. These days, Bethany's the one paying me $50 a pop just to fish in the water she used to treat like her private kingdom. If you think that sounds satisfying, just wait. I got receipts. I'll never forget the morning this whole mess started. It was September, the kind of Saturday where the lake's covered in a soft mist and everything feels possible. My daughter Aria, she was 8, then obsessed with fishing since she could hold a rod, was practicing her cast by the dock. I was just happy to share something with her that my dad passed down to me. Suddenly, this white golf cart tears down the path, screeches to a stop like we'd just robbed a bank. Out steps Bethany HOA president extraordinaire, flanked by 2 clipboard-wielding minions. Navy blazer, fake pearls, hair pulled so tight you could bounce a quarter off her forehead, and a smile cold enough to freeze the lake. She marches right up to me, heels clicking like a countdown clock, and says, "Excuse me, are you Decker Rothwell?" Like the words taste sour. I nod, not sure what fresh hell's about to unfold. She shoves this official-looking citation at me, fancy letterhead gold seals announcing I'm in violation of ecosystem protection regulations. $600 just like that for teaching my kid to fish on a lake. I've fished 100 times, license attached to my tackle box, everything by the book. Aria's little hands are shaking, her brown eyes so much like her mom's welling up, and my heart's in my throat. This was supposed to be our tradition, not a federal case. Bethany's 2 board members are filming the whole thing, hoping for some drama to upload. And then, just to ice the cake, Bethany calls 911. Not kidding. She's talking into her phone like she's reporting a terrorist attack. I need to report unauthorized aquaculture activities threatening our ecosystem. My daughter starts crying, her lures spill everywhere, and the only thing illegal is how fast this woman can turn a quiet morning into a circus. Within minutes, 2 cop cars roll up, lights flashing, sirens cutting through the peace. Officers Martinez and Reynolds look around like they were expecting oil drums leaking radioactive goo, not a dad and his 8-year-old with a Snoopy rod. Martinez asks Bethany, "Ma'am, where exactly is the environmental threat?" She points at us like we're typhoid carriers. The younger officer checks my fishing license. "Sir, your permits are valid. Recreational fishing's allowed." Aria whispers to him, "Dad was just teaching me to cast." That little voice, if you've ever seen a kid try to be brave when they're scared, you know how much it hurts. The cops are clearly irritated to be called out for what's basically a tantrum, but Bethany isn't done. She's waving around what looks like environmental impact studies full of charts and graphs. Now here's where my day job comes into play. I'm a marine biologist, aquaculture consultant, fish nerd for hire, and I spot the red flags immediately. Those documents, total garbage, probably printed up just to make her look legit. But it made me wonder why all this drama over a little fishing that night. After putting Aria to bed and assuring her she hadn't done anything wrong, I started digging. I tested some water samples I'd saved from the lake. The data screamed commercial fish farming, elevated nutrients, oxygen levels off the charts, and fish density through the roof. Someone was running an illegal aquaculture operation right under our noses. A little research, a lot of research. Some dumpster diving at the HOA office, maybe a few late nights with public records, and suddenly the puzzle came together. Monthly lake maintenance bills for $8,000, invoices for 500 pounds of rainbow trout and specialty bass delivered straight to the lake, all addressed to Crankshaw Seafood Holdings. Turns out Bethany's husband, Harrison, owns a chain of high-end restaurants, and they were funneling community money to stock their illegal fish farm, then selling the locally sourced seafood to unsuspecting diners. 3 families had already been targeted, fined, banned from the lake when they asked too many questions or spent too much time kayaking near the wrong part of the water. The pattern was clear. Anyone who got close to the truth was eliminated one fake violation at a time. The whole HOA was basically a front for Bethany and Harrison's six-figure side hustle. I called my attorney friend Jessica Decker. This is federal crime territory, she told me after looking over my files. EPA violations, tax fraud, conspiracy. These people are going away for a long time. But, calling the feds right. Then felt like letting them off easy. I wanted a win that would last. So while they were busy trying to destroy my reputation, harassing us daily, inventing new mailbox rules, even trying to get my consulting license revoked, I started planning a bigger move. I let rumors slip that I was looking at developing a legit fishing resort in the area. Within days, Bethany doubled down, daily inspections, social media rumors that Arya's dad was a criminal, you name it. It was like living in a bad reality show. But their panic just made it easier. I filed formal environmental complaints, offered to conduct a free impact study for the community. Bethany tried to spin it as me being a danger, called an emergency meeting, brought out glossy charts, fake testimonials, the whole dog and pony show. But when neighbors started asking real questions about the money, about why maintenance costs were sky high, about why they never saw any actual reports, the tide turned. Within days, the state and EPA were investigating. I quietly finished buying up the actual lake property, securing all the water rights, and filed every permit and license a real resort would need. By the time Bethany and Harrison figured out what was happening, it was too late. The feds swooped in, arrested them both on multiple charges: tax evasion, environmental crimes, community, fraud, the works. Harrison was hauled out of his own restaurant in handcuffs, Bethany from the HOA office. The whole neighborhood watched. There was no speech that could save them. At the next community meeting, I stood up and told everyone what was coming. Grand Harbor Fishing Resort wasn't just a name, it was a second chance for the entire community. Instead of shelling out $8,000 a month for maintenance that went into Bethany's pocket, people would get real jobs, property values would climb, and their kids could learn about conservation, not corruption. The HOA was dissolved, the resort got built, and Arya became our first junior fishing instructor, teaching other kids how to fish and how to stand up for what's right. The best part: 6 months after we opened, Bethany shows up out on supervised release from federal prison, has to pay the same $50 day pass as everyone else just to fish in the lake she tried to steal. I handed her the receipt myself, smiled and said, "Welcome to Grand Harbor, Bethany. Hope you enjoy learning about real environmental stewardship today." The look on her face, pure poetic justice. Arya, now 9, looked up at me and asked, "Dad, why is that lady crying at our lake?" I just shrugged. Some folks learn the hard way that crime doesn't pay, sweetheart. But people who do right get to build something everyone can enjoy. Property values jumped. The resort made the news, and other communities started calling, asking how they could protect themselves from HOA corruption. Even the state legislature passed a law. Decker's Law, they called it, requiring full disclosure for HOA-run businesses. By the anniversary of Bethany's fine, our lake had become a symbol of recovery, not just for us, but for everyone who's ever been bullied by small-time tyrants in big offices. Looking back, all I ever wanted was to share Saturday mornings on the lake with my daughter like my dad did with me. I never set out to take down a criminal enterprise, but when bullies come for your family, you find out what you're made of. That $600 fine. It cost Bethany everything: her freedom, her reputation, even her dignity. It gave me a chance to turn pain into purpose. Now our story is hanging on the wall of the Grand Harbor Education Center, right next to the original citation. Visitors laugh at how small it all started, how big it became. So let me ask you, if you discovered your HOA president was running an illegal business on your dime, would you call the authorities or build something better? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Share your own stories of fighting back, or just tell me what's your definition of justice. And if you think this tale's wild, you haven't heard about the time an HOA president tried to seize my neighbor's therapy dog. Subscribe because that one's coming next week, and let me tell you, it's worth every minute.